Hello, it's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Welcome to another episode of Just Ask Bob Live. I am your host, Bob Assadourian. Explain this program in a snapshot. 2 goals, always 2 goals. Number 1, to motivate you and educate you. To get up, get off the couch, and always tackle your own to-do list. Doesn't matter if it's a little to-do list, fixing a faucet, replacing the aerator, regrouting a couple of tiles, putting up some pictures, maybe even assembling some cabinetry and furniture, and then right to the good stuff. Kitchens, basements, bathrooms, man cave, a deck, a door, a window. The possibilities are absolutely unlimited. Now, part 2, for whatever reason, if you simply refuse to get up and off the couch, maybe the ladder's too short to reach the roof. If you must hire out, do it smart, do it with thought, do it in an educated manner. Meaning, to demystify the process, we're going to work hard on every single episode to find what I like to refer to as the right contractor for you and your home. Very important. It all begins with the licensing. Right now, you should be seeing Bob's license on screen. Not unlike reality television, today's host is actually licensed. Now, you might ask, why does the license matter? Well, you pay high taxes. I'm sure many of you do. And the municipality's doing you a favor, especially my specific municipality of Hamilton. They actually vet, pre-screen, and have a system in place through a trade exam board to keep the riffraff away from you and your home so that you hire good, legitimate people. Now, if we dig into this for a moment, province-wise, the province only regulates the electricians, the gas workers, and the plumbers. That's only 3 items out of hundreds that can be done in your home. So if you think about it, from the foundation to the roof, structural renovations, pulling out load-bearing walls, kitchens, basements, bathrooms, chimneys, roofing, foundation repairs, decks, fences, all of that's unregulated as far as the province is concerned. They leave it to each and every single individual municipality to decide if they want to set up a licensing for contractors. Hamilton has it. Burlington got rid of it in the early 2000s. There wasn't funding available. Brantford has it. So it varies across the province. So Hamilton specifically, which I can state, they have a very good system in mind. Number 1, you can't even make an appointment to write the exam on the book behind me here, the Ontario Building Code, unless you pass the police clearance. So look into your mind's eye and think about that one. A good contractor may very well be in your home from well before you leave for work in the morning and could still be there working after you've come back home from work. You have valuables, you have family. The police clearance is critical. Next, he's going to write the exam on the Ontario Building Code. Must have a minimum 70% pass. Finally, he must prove he carries $2 million liability insurance, and that's it. He's licensed, he's legitimate. Otherwise, the fellow working at the Big B variety store or the fellow pumping gas, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, there is something wrong when they cross the line and they want to become contractors. At least in Hamilton, that's not allowed. Burlington, again, from the Big B variety to the gas station, next day they can be in your home calling themselves pretend contractors. So it's very, very important. Another item, this program, this show is broken up into 2 parts. Part 1, in response, as always, to a viewer's email. Bob produces footage on his job sites, real renovation job sites. So that's the reno segment. First half of the show, we put out a renovation in response to show you directly on a job site how to repair that kitchen, basement, bathroom, roof, leaking eaves troughs, whatever it may be. Second part of the show, get your home rental questions ready. Ask Bob at cable14.com. Tweet your questions at Just Ask Bob, or I'm old school. Pick up the phone. I welcome your call. I welcome hearing your voice. 905-645-3232. We also have, I'm hosting a call in and win contest. Call in and win 1 of 4 $50 Home Depot gift cards to get you up and off the couch to tackle your own to-do list. All you have to do, call into the live show, hit Bob with your hardest rental question. For full contest details, go to cable14.com/Bob contest. Now, please, I do welcome your calls because it does break it up from my reading the emails and from my yakking endlessly. It saves my voice, and it lets me interact with you, the viewer. Always remember that. Now, final note, again, we talked about whether you DIY or whether you hire out. I'm almost more worried about you hiring out. The DIY, I'm sure you're going to do a good job. You're never going to cheat yourself because you'll be cheating your own home, cheating your own family. When you hire the contractor, I can't stress this enough. Test their patience in the beginning before you sign on the dotted line. How many of you have had in your very own home what I like to refer to as the grumpy contractor? He's there, he's on your property, you're paying him well, he's working on your home. You hit him with a question, he barks the answer. Hit him with another question, he barks even louder. The subliminal there is being given out, meaning get away from me, get out of here. That's not how it's supposed to be done. Or walking through the home, tracking mud through the property. You have to really, really investigate this person. Ask for references immediately. Never mind the old age saying of 2 or 3 references. Any crook can phony those up. You want at least a dozen references. And if he's quoting you chimney work, better be somebody on that list that he's done a chimney for. If he's quoting you a basement or a roof, obviously the references have to line up accordingly with the work that he's bidding on or quoting on in your home. Now, again, we kick it off with the viewer's email. This is what's going to precipitate today's real reno job site footage. Hey, Bob, my wife and I love your show. We know you are not keen on homeowners doing their own electrical work, but I have checked, and it is legal for a homeowner to replace their own existing light fixtures. My wife wants me to replace all the lights in our home. If I can watch you go through the steps of replacing and installing a light fixture, it will help me a lot and make my wife happy. This is from Manny from Hamilton. Well, Manny, we're going to make Mrs. Manny very happy today, and I hope you pay really good attention because that's an awful lot of work, replacing every single light fixture in your home. And how does Bob know? Because I've been doing that for almost 20 years. Number one, I can't stress this enough, so I'm going to be repetitive. You're going to hear this in the reno footage as well. Turn the power off. Please, don't be brave. Turn the power off and everything will be fine. And do read the instructions because a lot of these fixtures, well, not a lot of them, some of them can be complicated, others can be very simple. Enjoy the reno, and don't forget, Bob's back, so get your home reno questions ready and pick up the phone and call in right after this footage. Follow Bob on a lighting tour at our supply center. We have a lot to show you here. Just about every possible light, motion lights, interior lights, landscaping lights, chandeliers for your kitchen, LED under cabinet lighting, just about anything your heart can desire and hopefully your budget can afford. Enjoy the tour. Welcome to our job site. Today we're going to talk about replacing a simple fixture. On this project, we're replacing an exterior wall sconce. Same rules, everything applies the same, whether it's any kind of light inside your home. Now, it's not quite that I want to endorse electrical work for homeowners, but we've had numerous emails coming in to both my office and the Cable 14 requesting Bob install a light fixture. The law states that if it's a simple fixture, yes, you can change it as a homeowner. No electrical permits required. But that means there has to be an existing light fixture. You cannot run new wires. That would require a permit. Once again, Triple R's finest, Frank Lorcella. How are you, Frank?
Not too bad, Bobby. How are you?
Excellent. Happy to have you here today. So we want to make sure the homeowners understand is there's the fixture. It's already installed. We're going to demystify the process here today by taking the fixture off and then reinstalling it. Frank, Bob wasn't quick enough there, but tell us about this fixture, why you just did what you did to get it to light up.
So this fixture is always on. There's not a switch here. So it has a sensor in the top here. So it might look off, but the power is really still on. So once the sensor's triggered, the light turns on. You go and you think, oh, the light's not on, you want to go fiddle around with it, you gotta check if the power's off.
So that's called dusk to dawn.
Yes.
Okay, which is also an interesting security safety precaution for security reasons. Now, back in the day, when motion lights first came out or became popular, everybody's using motion lights to protect the perimeter of their property at night. I mean, it works. Thieves don't like the bright light. But the problem with motion lights is the false detection. Everybody complains they're going off, even though nobody's walking by them. So now the trend seems to be leaning towards dusk to dawn operation, meaning there's no switch, power is always there. When it becomes nighttime, the fixture operates throughout the night, and then it turns off in the morning. Very good. Now, you've got to make sure with those fixtures, I would recommend that the bulbs are LED. With LED bulbs, you're not going to be wasting the hydro. Frank, give it one more shot there. So your finger essentially blocking the sensor, hence the brain or the circuitry thinks it's nighttime.
Yep.
Terrific. Now to demystify the process, let's take her apart. Just shy of the touching the wires though, because there's a point here. Bob wants the homeowners to have a look at my electrical tester. Now let me try to get up there close, Frank. Well, Frank, actually, you're too fast for me. Go back, put it back on.
Yep.
Sorry, just I want the viewers to see how it came off.
So you only have two little bolts here that screw into the threads. So you'll see here, the threads here. It comes through this hole.
Well, put it back on, Frank, and just lightly thread one on. I want to try to capture this really tight.
It's a little difficult to line them up sometimes.
There they are. Try not to drop those. I've dropped more than I've put on. So Frank's putting the brown nut on there now, threading it on. And one will be enough, Frank, for the viewers. You don't have to do the other one.
This is always the hardest part, is putting it back together.
Okay, you're working the left one, right?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, I've got a very good close-up. For those of you at home, that's the left nut, and there's the thread for the right one. Okay, good enough. Take her off, Frank. There should be enough slack in the wires to have it hang.
Enough room to work there.
Okay, now do some magic with the circuit tester. I want to stress to everybody watching, do not work on the wires either to uninstall it or install it unless the power is off. So we're going to show you now what our tester can do.
So you always want to test this before you go and test it on the wires that you're going to be working on. You know that your outlet in the kitchen works, go test this and make sure it works before you come here. So when you put this up to the live wires, it beeps.
Hold on, let me zoom in.
Beeps,
and off.
flashes.
Now on again.
There you go. So the white wire here doesn't have power. The black one does.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna stop now, take a quick break while Bob runs to the basement to kill the power. Essentially, the home actually, very nice job the electricians did. There was a panel change on this property recently. Every single breaker is labeled. This one should be labeled as the power to the shed. I'll cut the power, we'll be right back. Frank, I assure you the power's off.
Always double check.
No, I know. Put it in there, see if it's gonna chirp.
I think you're okay.
Okay.
Check the sensor. I think we're good.
All right. Make sure, Frank, nice, loud, and clear. Let's demystify this for the viewers. Basically, we're going to uninstall it completely. You can leave the ground wire on because at least it holds the fixture to the wall, and then reinstall it as if it was a brand new installation.
Absolutely. So I don't want to say it's pretty simple, but you only really have 3 wires that come out of your fixture, your lights. So you have your white, your black, and your ground. So the ground doesn't have any rubber sheathing on it, and then that connects up to the bracket and the housing, and also the ground into the wire into the home. So I'll take this little part here so you can see.
So right now you're pulling off the morettes.
Yep.
Explain the purpose of the morettes for the viewers, please.
So the morettes here, they have a little metal piece that's almost like a little spring or coiled around. So when you go to wrap your wires together and put these together, and you go and you twist the morettes on it, it tightens down on the wires, creating a good connection. And that's what you want. It's very important to have good connections. If you don't, then you have arcing and sparking and just a mess of a time in here, and you don't want that. It'd start a fire. Like we said, I'm just going to keep this together because it's wrapped up pretty good right now.
Oh, for the ground wire.
Yep. So these are your 3 wires that come on the fixture. White, black. What I like to do is get these wires and you just twist them up a little bit. Because they're a bunch of very small wires, and you want to make them into one solid good one.
They're stranded.
Yes.
As opposed to the home's 110 wiring.
Which is just a solid copper.
Solid copper.
Yep.
Let me zoom in on that for a moment. I want the viewers to understand clearly.
So you have your solid copper here.
Solid copper.
These are 2 together, wrapped together, but they're solid.
Okay.
This one here, it's multiple small strands put together.
Same for every fixture you buy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's not really much difference though, whether you're buying a $15 fixture or a $500 fixture. It's basically black to black, white to white.
Absolutely. If you ever open these up and they start having red or different colored wiring and you don't know what you're doing, it's always the best option is to call an electrician if you don't know what you're doing.
100%. Again, I'm only doing this episode because a lot of emails are coming in. Seems to be an awful lot of viewers who want to see us put in a light fixture. And again, I checked with my electrician who's been on the guest many of times. He said it's 100% legal. Homeowner can do it or a contractor can do it. No electrical safety authority permit required. However, must be an existing, already in place light fixture with wiring intact and in good condition. Then you're just doing a fixture replacement. If something's wonky in there, or you got any arcing going on, or you want to move the fixture 3 feet over, or there wasn't a fixture there to begin with, you're done. You need a licensed master electrical contractor, and you need a permit and an inspection most cases.
Absolutely. And like I did here, I just wrapped it around, and you want to wrap it around in the same way that you're going to twist on your morettes here.
Let me focus in on there on that, Frank.
So you set up your cords together, and then you're going to come down and wrap it around. So you get a nice, good connection. Everything's touching. You want to wrap it in the same way that you're going to twist your moret on. Always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So you twist on your moret nice and tight. Make sure you add pressure inward and twist.
I see what you're saying, so let me give the viewers another example. Your wires are twisted to the right, the original 2 black ones, and then your stranded wire from the fixture you turn to the right, and then you turn your moret to the right. What would happen if you turn your moret to the left?
It wouldn't do anything. It's not going to screw on.
It's not going to screw on.
But if you were to wrap this wire around the opposite way, the way that you're not going to be screwing it on, when you go to screw this, it's going to want to come back and wrap around and unscrew itself. You don't want that. You want tight.
It has to make sense.
Yeah. Wrap it up nice and tight. Good connections. And then put your moret on, push in, and twist. Nice and tight.
Sorry folks for the unsteady camera work here, but Bob's up on a ladder himself trying to get you a close bird's eye view of Frank's work.
You want to make sure when you put on your morets, you want to get your wiring, hold your moret, give them a little tug. If they pop out really easy, it's not good. You need to check your moret size or your wires, fix it all back up, and make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want these coming loose.
All right, Frank, what's the next step now?
Perfect. Now we're going to put it all back together here. So you want to tuck your wires back in behind this bracket here.
Let me get in there tight.
It's a little bit difficult to show you. When you go, tuck your wires up. It takes a little bit of force here. And this is why you want your morets to be on tight, because when you start pushing the wires around, it might come loose on you. So, tuck your wires in. Make sure the little small wires here from the fixture are all in there safe. And you're not going to pinch them and cut them. Can't forget the nuts. Perfect. So you want to set it back on, line it up with those studs that are coming out.
This is probably the fussiest part, lining up the threads in the holes.
Absolutely. Want to get a good grip on it. Get the thread started. You gotta watch too. Sometimes if you do too tight on one side before you've gotten the other one on, it'll twist it out and then you won't be able to get the other nut on.
Okay, so you want to go lightly on each side and then tighten them both at the end.
Yes.
That's fair. Almost reminds me of a toilet bowl.
Absolutely, 100%. And these don't need to be cranked on to just about where you're going to break them. They only need to be hand tight. Perfect.
Let me get in there a close up.
There you go. Give it a little wiggle. It's not going to go anywhere.
Excellent job, Frank. Excellent. We're going to turn on the power. We're going to be right back.
Perfect.
Okay, and now the final reinstallation of the fixture. She's in. She's done. As we mentioned before, these are on a dusk to dawn setting. There's no switch. So Frank, make it nighttime.
Sure.
I love that. Make it daytime. Make it nighttime. Good job, Frank. Couldn't have done it without you.
Sure.
For all the viewers at home, may every single one of your fixture installations go as smoothly as this one. If not, call in a licensed master electrical contractor. Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. I hope you enjoyed our rental footage, and I hope you learned how to replace fixtures inside and outside your home. Don't forget, it's your emails to precipitate our rental footage. Send the emails at askbob@cable14.com, Twitter at justaskbob, or pick up the phone, 905-645-3232. And remember, it's the phone call that enters you into the contest, not the tweet and not the email. We have one here for you. Hi, Bob. I have a cold cellar in the basement under the front steps. There is a strong musty odor coming out of it. There is no ventilation. I just want to keep it as a cold room. What do I need to do? Do I need ventilation? Should I use insulation down below the ground level? How do I get rid of the musty odors? This is Ross from Hamilton. Ross, love the question. Thank you so much. Now, believe it or not, literally, last week we finished recording on one of my job sites, and the work was literally 90% to the letter, to the T of what you just asked. So I'm going to keep it to a limit. I'm going to keep you in suspense. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. sharp, between 7 and 8, you'll be able to catch your answer through our renovation footage. So don't forget, tune in next Tuesday. All right, we have another one here. Oh, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, my name is Amy Sloan and I'm going to be the host of a new show called Friends on 14. It's a show for our seniors. It's got music, trivia, it's got exercise and all kinds of fun stuff for seniors. Join me on Monday nights after bingo at 8 p.m. on Cable 14.
Cancer connects us all. We all have a story to tell.
I was 13 years old when I first heard the word cancer.
Being diagnosed with colon cancer was an overwhelming shock.
This is me after my first clean scan.
I'm back to myself again.
Research, including clinical trials, helps to change the picture for cancer patients across Canada. Join Stand Up to Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society to learn more about the groundbreaking research that translates into life-saving treatments.
Join us on the next Business Wellness Show with our guests Lynn Howarth and Harmony McKenzie. We're talking about raising emotionally intelligent children. Catch it on Friday at 8 p.m.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We kick it off with another viewer's email. Hi, Bob. I have to paint the interior of my house in the next couple of weeks. Since I'm doing the painting myself, what brand of paint do you recommend to use and why? Where do you shop for paint? Love your show. Thanks for your advice. Marcello from Hamilton. Thank you very much, Marcello. Appreciate the question. Now, as far as what I use, let's backtrack now. 18, 19 years ago when I started using one line of paint or brand. I won't mention the name. I don't want to be that insulting and mean. Then I experimented with a different one. And then I realized, why not ask the real pros? My brother-in-law, who's been a painter now for somewhere between 30, 35 years, he got me into Sherwin-Williams. Absolutely best product out there, hands down. Now, as a homeowner's perspective, you're going to spend a little more on the product, but you're going to have a great result. Contractors, for a different reason, it speeds up the process. If we buy cheap paint that's literally like water, every time we dip in and we cut, you barely get any coverage, and on and on and on. And who knows how many coats. So it's a benefit to the contractor that cares about his work and his craft, and it's also a benefit to the homeowner. Sherwin-Williams, you won't have any issues at all, and they have various lines. So they have from the most expensive also to some budget conscious lines. So it depends. You have to educate yourself. They have a phenomenal website, so I would recommend you definitely visit their website, learn a little bit about the different lines of the product lines, and then visit one of the locations nearest you. Good luck with the painting. Hi, Bob. Can you tell me where I can find replacement weather stripping for awning windows? This is Sheila from Hamilton. Thank you, Sheila. Great question. Easy question to answer. It's not a complicated one. Look around town for the big box stores, and also please give equal respect to the local smaller hardware stores. A lot of them, by local, it means the owner is actually from the community. Now, the only reason I bring up the big box stores is if push comes to shove, they may actually carry what you need. So give them both a try, but please start with small and start with local. You'll be helping the community. We have another email up on screen. Hi, Bob. In November of 2019, I had my roof reshingled by a well-known roofer. In the spring, I noticed rain coming in through the ceiling of the front entranceway. Right away, I contacted the company, and they promised to come back and have a look. Of course, nobody showed up. After many emails and unanswered phone calls, finally, after 3 months, the owner showed up and blamed the eaves troughs for it. Meanwhile, after every rain, the water came in. So I called the guy who did my eaves troughs, and he said they are good. Wow. He said the roofers didn't seal the shingles, overlapping my neighbor's shingles. I live in a semi-attached house, and my neighbor didn't reshingle her side. So I paid the eaves guy to seal all the seams, but next rain, still water coming in. I called the roofer again, and after a month he showed up and said they forgot to put some flashing on it. He fixed that, and I hoped it's all done. But next rain, same thing happened. Water coming through the ceiling. I emailed him again, and no response. I don't know what to do. My husband just passed away in May. I don't need any more stress in my life. Shall I contact the BBB or hire another company to fix the problem? Also, would this be something that the house insurance would look at? This has been going on now since February, and it has to be fixed before winter. Can you please advise me what the best step would be to resolve this? Bridget. Oh, and we have a photo. Love it. Photos help, Bob. They're very, very helpful. Well, the water's definitely getting in. What a shame. What a shame. After spending, I'm sure, very good money. Yeah, this really gets Bob pissed. Best advice I can give you. Okay, let me start with the end almost, because that was a whirlwind of an email. And please, before I forget, please send that email. If you're watching tonight, resend that to my office, because this came to Cable 14. Send it to my office. You can find that easily through my website, www.justaskbob.com, because this is going to be a difficult one to deal with, so I want you to follow up with me after the show. Now, towards the end, you mentioned insurance. Yes, there are cases where your homeowner's insurance may cover this. Speak to your broker or agent. That's important. However, wait, pause, put the brakes on. I don't want this going through your insurance, and you shouldn't want it going through your insurance either, because at the minimum, you lose your claims-free discount. So it's funny when insurance companies say you can make a claim or two, your insurance, they practically guarantee and promise you it won't go up. That's not quite true, because if you have, for example, a $100 discount for being claims-free, which is somewhat the norm, depending on what your total premium is, if they remove that discount, your insurance just went up $100. So you shouldn't pay a dime for this. This is most definitely what I call a crooked, overcharging contractor, and definitely the guy that barks as well. This is disgusting. I mean, reading through your email, what pisses me the most is the timelines. He takes too long to show up, way too long. This is a roof. This isn't a loose toilet seat. This isn't floor tile. This isn't a little bit of baseboard that needs some touching up. This is your home's roof. So he's already liable for the damage that got caused inside. Best advice I can give you, I'm going to throw out some quick advice now because we got to move on. And then for the rest, you have to follow up with me. If you didn't catch my site address, I'll be putting it out at the end of the show. Follow up with me. My best advice to you and to any homeowner when you've been crooked or taken advantage of by the so-called crook and overcharging contractor is make some noise. Believe me, trust me, make some noise. But you have to do it in a smart way. Give the roofer, give the contractor notice. I'm a contractor myself. If somebody came after me that way in the media or made noise, I mean, I'd want to dig a hole and bury myself. So for respect, even though they don't deserve it, give the roofer notice that what you're going to do is embark on a noisy campaign. You're going to contact the Better Business Bureau, contact the Chamber of Commerce, contact your local television media stations, contact local cable television, contact newspapers, contact magazines, talk to anybody that will talk to you, make noise. Contact your city councilor. They need your vote next election. Whoever your city councilor is, well, your vote may or may not have helped put them into power, but either way, when they run for election next time, your local city councilor, they do need your vote, and they have some power. Have them over your home, show them the disaster, tell them how you're being ignored and disrespected, make some noise. Always remember this, it's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease first. Oh, we have a caller on the line. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Bob. I have a question about electrical panels. I had the electrical baseboards all removed and forced air ferns put in a few years ago, and then had an air conditioning central air installed, and they recommended replacing the entire electrical panel and all the circuit breakers. And I would have thought that, like it's a 30-year-old panel, but it appeared to be in good condition, and there was still breaker capacity on it, and with probably more than half the load taken off of it. I'm wondering, how do you evaluate when a panel should be replaced?
Oh, no, great question. I may ask Stephen, right?
And also whether or not the breakers are reusable, especially if they're newer ones, like a couple of years old or sort of thing.
Okay, so this breaker panel did have capacity in it. It had approximately half.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, did you have, well, silly question I'm going to follow up with, but I assume you didn't have any sub-panels.
No.
Okay, because on my jobs, if it's fuses, we get rid of it. If it's a breaker panel, and the ones that I encounter, sir, it's the breaker panel, it's out of capacity, somebody's ponied off it to add a small sub-panel, and in many cases, they've ponied off that to add a sub-panel. So if we have to rewire a bathroom or we're doing a new bathroom or kitchen or even basement work, it's just silly. It's crazy to add another pony panel. So my electrician always strongly recommends the panel should be changed. But now your panel had breaker capacity in it. So there obviously you didn't have small extra sub panels, and they still recommended to change it. Did they give you a reason?
No.
Did you ask? In fairness to the electrician.
Yeah, I did, and it was just all of the units were being done, so everybody had their panels ripped out and replaced.
What was the service changed?
No.
So your service is 100 or is it 60?
100 amp.
Okay, so you had a 100 amp service. The service stayed the same. Your breaker panel had capacity. And again, just to be correct, when you asked them why, they just said because they're doing it to all the units.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Let me ask now, was it above board?
It seemed to me like it was just spending money to spend money.
No, I understand. But was it above board? Was it done by licensed electrical master contractor? Was there a permit?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that most of the work done was not permitted because they weren't moving any plumbing or moving any electrical or whatever.
Oh, no, but an electrical panel change, 100%, I can guarantee you, if that panel was changed, legally needed a permit. So what I'll do is I'll just throw out a number for you. If you want to write this down, 1-888-ESA-SAFE. Again, that's 1-888-ESA-SAFE. Follow up with the Electrical Safety Authority because it's your property, so you can follow up to find out with them if there's a record of a permit. Now,
I'm sorry, what was the spoken word part?
Oh, ESA, SAFE.
ESA?
Yeah, E for elephant, S for Sam,
right.
A for Albert, and then SAFE.
Safe.
S for Sam, A for Albert, F for Frank, E for Elephant. 1-888-ESA-SAFE. Because what I want you to figure out is, was this above board? If this was a proper company and they pulled a permit, then this really doesn't make sense. But if they didn't pull a permit, then I think you were taken advantage of, because if your panel's got capacity and it hasn't had a fire damage or anything wrong with it, I don't believe they should have changed your panel, because it doesn't sound like you were at a capacity and your service wasn't changed. So you can't recall if there was a permit pulled for the job.
No, I don't. I know I got into an argument with the contractor about permits on other things and installation of the air conditioning and whatnot. So
yeah, it'll be very interesting, because when you call the Electrical Safety Authority, they'll only speak to two entities. A is master licensed electrical contractors, and of course homeowners, property owners. So you can simply ask them, give them the date this was done, and ask them if there's a permit registered for the panel change. Okay. If there's not, then looks like you were taken advantage, in this case, by a crooked and overcharging electrician or a wannabe electrician. I can't be sure. I can't comment on exactness because I wasn't there, obviously. But do look into it through the ESA. And please feel free. We got to run for break, but feel free. Follow up with me after the show at the office. I'll be announcing my contact information at the end of the show.
Okay, a quick question. When somebody installs a new fixture.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have to cover the entire box in the wall where the Mars connectors are?
Oh, you mean when you're installing a fixture?
Yeah.
Well, if you're installing a fixture, your fixture will cover the box. I think you mean if you're getting rid of one and the hole's left.
Well, no, they replaced the fixture, but it's the type of fixture that interferes with the medicine cabinet door, so it's mounted above the electrical box.
Oh, okay.
So there's a half-inch crack.
They gadget it to get it to work out, but it doesn't. It's got a gap in it.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's completely legal and dangerous. I really
legal
think.
Or illegal?
Pardon?
Did you say legal or illegal?
Oh, illegal and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I'm really leaning towards now that this wasn't a real electrician. Yeah, follow up with me after the show, but we got to take a break. Thank you, though.
Sir.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
As we navigate through 2020 and the unique experiences we've all faced this year, it's the connections we have to the community around us which allow us to stay informed about the people, stories, and experiences within our own Hamilton network. Each day at 5 p.m., we'll bring you closer to the connections and experiences within the Hamilton network, right here on Cable 14 and online at cable14.com.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Come watch Hammer D20, the show that focuses on the nerdy side of Hamilton. From video games to comic books to board game cafes to Magic the Gathering to Warhammer to cosplay to whatever else there is. I try to look at all the magical things Hamilton has to offer.
It's about sharing and caring. It's about doing and belonging. It's about living life to its fullest. And it's about laughing out loud. We are L'Arche Canada, and we're about witnessing and sharing the gifts of all people. Learn more about us today.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have Ivan on the line. Hello, Ivan.
Hi, Bob. Love the show.
Thank you, sir.
Question: what is the required, or is there any specific regulations on the height of a backyard wooden fence?
Yes. May I ask what city are you calling from?
Hamilton.
Yes. Most 99% of areas in Hamilton, it's 6 feet. Now, if you're in the outskirts, possibly Benbrook, Hannon area, Stony Creek, or Ancaster, it wouldn't hurt just to verify this through the city. So I always like to put out the number, Ivan, 905-546-2424, just to get it straight from the city. But generally, I'm comfortable to say 6 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have an email. Hello, Bob. I have a question regarding light fixtures. What is better, a light fixture that you can simply install your own LED bulb into, or one that has an integrated LED light in it and never needs a bulb? This is from Tammy in Burlington. Thank you so much, Tammy. I love the question. That's a phenomenal question, and it ties in with today's footage. So I can see that you've been watching. Now, there's a big argument with this as to which you prefer. Let me try to give you logic on both sides, and you'll have to use your decorating taste as well here. With a fixture that you simply screw in a bulb, there's some advantages because you can put in an LED bulb, and when the bulb's gone or there's an issue with the bulb, you can change it. You can even change the kelvins, the color code of the bulb. They can go right up from, well, they can begin at 2700K to 3000K, which gives you a bit of a yellow light, similar to an incandescent. Then you can move up to 3 to 4000K bulb, which will give you sort of a soft white. Then you can move right up to 5 to 6 to 7000Ks, which will give you stunning daylight. So again, logically, if the bulb has an issue, the bulb, the light source, and the fixture, you can separate, so you don't lose the light fixture. Now let's look at the other possibility, as in the one that you've seen on our rental footage. You can see when Frank was working on that light fixture, you could probably see some diodes in there. Those are the LEDs, light emitting diodes, so there was no bulb. Now those fixtures, it's a trend. People love the invisibleness of them, if that's a proper phrase, so to speak. So you see the light fixture, you don't see a bulb. The light just emanates out of it. It's cool, it's nice, it's modern. However, if there's a problem with the light emitting diode, more than likely that fixture's garbage. It wouldn't work out with shipping and pricing or even availability to order another diode set, because some of them, you might ruin it trying to take it out and having to unsolder it. So plainly speaking, those fixtures are garbage. They're one use. Now, why choose those? Again, it's the look, it's the style, it's the trend. So when you're shopping for your light fixtures, do consider that. And speaking of the look, they have old school light bulbs that look like an incandescent, and they have a fancy light emitting diode in them. So they're an LED light, which looks old school. So that's an option as well, but keep this in mind when you're out shopping for your light fixtures. We have another email here that came in. Bob, do LED pot lights require vapor barrier box inside the attic? This is from Ted from Hamilton. Great question, Ted. Yes, they do, because by attic, I'm assuming you mean, you're not the first floor, you're definitely the second floor, the highest to the top. So right above that attic, that's a cold zone. It's an exterior zone. So again, as I've mentioned this many times in the past, when talking about attics, a properly insulated attic, when it's 25, 30 below zero in the dead of winter, it should be very, very close to 25 to 30 below zero in the attic. Because think about it, the shingles and the plywood underneath them, that's no insulating value at all. So if you're in your attic in the winter, it should be ice cold. If it's nice and warm, you have other problems. But the point is, when the LED lights are in, heat from the bathroom migrates up through the lights, can escape, and when that gets in the attic, it mixes in with the ice cold air. Hot meets cold, you get condensation, you get moisture, potentially you can get mold. So there are vapor barrier boxes that are designed for those small LED pot lights, or you can simply make one out of vapor barrier. So that's important. Keep that in mind. We have another email question here. Bob, how many pot lights and receptacles can I have on one circuit? I am finishing my basement in my own home, and I need to know. This is Ed from Burlington. Great question, Ed. I appreciate it. Bob's honest answer is, I have no idea. I'm not a master licensed electrical contractor. My electrician is, that we use on our jobs proudly because we're legit. Now, you're doing this job yourself, so there's a lot more you're going to need to know while you're doing it, and I can't follow you through the whole job. Now, I hope you're doing it legally. The Electrical Safety Authority of Ontario, they do allow you to do much more than change a light fixture. You can wire your whole basement. However, it has to be with a permit, and you have to call for the proper inspections. So I would hope, because you can't call me at every single stage, I would hope that you can buy the book guide, or you might be able to find the information electronically on the internet. There's definitely guides for wiring your home. Essentially, behind me, as you can see, the Ontario Building Code. That's my guide for my trade. There definitely has to be a guide or a book or a manual for wiring. Follow it. Stay safe. If you really can't find the answer, follow up with me after the show at my office, and I'll forward your email inquiry to my electrician, who will give you the exact answer. But again, even my electrician, he's not getting paid to do the job, so him and I aren't going to follow you right through it, especially seeing as it's electrical work. So I strongly recommend, I'm proud of you for getting up, getting off the couch, but I strongly recommend you get the manual, you get the guide, follow it, and get every inspection when required. Oh, we got a call here from Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Very good. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. I have a quick question. Is there a code requirement for the height of a gas stove to the fan?
Oh, yes, yes.
Exhaust fan.
So this is the kitchen range. It's gas.
Correct.
Yes, there is a requirement. Honestly, I don't have it at the top of my head. Very, very easily, if you want to follow up with me after the show, I can send it to you. Now, just to give you information, though, so this will relate to the exhaust fan, though. So you've got the gas stove in. Is the exhaust fan in?
We do have one, but it's maybe like 1.5 feet of height, but it doesn't exhaust to anything.
Okay.
It's just one of those microwave tops.
Okay, because that's the key regarding the height, though, for being combustible. The exhaust fan, whether it's a range fan on its own or a combination with a microwave, that's critical. And if you buy another microwave exhaust unit or a standalone fan, or you have the model numbers, so you have to be manufacturer specific now. You'll need to look up their information online if you don't have the manuals and find out what they request specifically, because every manufacturer may be different. But that clearance, that gap is critical, or else you can start a fire.
Okay, thank you so much, Bob. I love the show.
Well, thank you. But please do follow up with me, and I will get you the answer. Thank you. Stay tuned, everybody. Don't forget to call 905-645-3232. Get your questions in, and it gives you a chance to win 1 out of 4 $50 Home Depot cards. Stay tuned. We're taking a quick break.
Hey everybody, welcome to Setting the Hook. We're out here on Lake Ontario this morning. We got set up about an hour and a half ago. I'm with my good buddy Richard Brower here, and so far it's been a pretty good morning.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, the rods have been going off pretty steady. Already had one double header, and hopefully more to come.
Online shopping. Soon it will be the way many of us shop for just about everything. And that's where we come in. Canada Post delivers more parcels to Canadians than anyone else. Canada Post, delivering the online world.
Watch The Opinionators, your weekly dose of provincial and federal politics with a partisan slant. Airing Thursdays at 5:30 on Cable 14.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have just enough time for a last email. Hello, Bob. What is better for home security, motion lights or a regular light with an automatic dusk to dawn setting? Taylor from Hamilton. Excellent question. We touched on this during the footage, but I'm happy to repeat it again. Back in the day, very, very simple. Motion lights would go on and off. That keeps you secure. Not in reality, though. The wind sets them off. Animals set them off. They go off as if they had their own mind. Now with the LEDs, that's the key, the LEDs. With the LEDs that have the money savings, so you put one of these LEDs outside at the corner of your home or in front of your home, anywhere from $2 to $3 a year is the hydro cost. So it's very, very efficient that way. Thank you so much for the question. Now, for those of you that I couldn't get the answers to today, please follow up with Bob. www.justaskbob.com. Again, www.justaskbob.com. Pause, fast forward, rewind. We have over a decade of these episodes right on the site. See you next week.